And how do I use what I know to make me better, right? And how do you figure out? You fuck around. Fuck around, you're going to find out, right? So, John, if you don't make any money in the next few days on that one, definitely be looking at getting starting applying again, 100%. But don't focus on that. Focus on what you can control, and that is your level of input and the conversations that you're doing, right?
Yeah.
Because they can definitely improve a good bit, which is great to see, right? But has anybody got any questions, boys, before I go off into? I kind of want to deep dive a little bit in terms of like what are getting on an offer looks like, because I know there's definitely going to be a few heads in here that don't have an absolute clue. Mr. Ford, take it away, brother.
Well, you know, when somebody is a DQ, how are you handling that, like, in the DMs?
Oh,
just
the second they say Indian, you just never apply to them again.
Yeah.
So if anybody ever says they're DQ, literally just leave them, right? Forget about it. It is what it is, bro. Genuinely. If you want to send them, what I used to do is I'd send them something for free and just leave them be, right? Whatever free guidance, free sauce, YouTube video, whatever they have that's free, that actually has some form of value, send it and tell them to be on their way, right? And then leave it go. Because at the end of the day, right, what do you want to do? You want to optimize your time. You want to optimize your time that you are doing the most that you can to make money, right? So if you're spending time chatting to people that are never going to be able to buy the product, and you could have asked questions that would have brought that to the forefront, then you're not doing your job to the best of your ability, right? And that's where, like John, let's say at the start of his offer, he was doing it a different way. Go on, John, take her easy, brother. But he was doing it a different way, and he then was wasting time chatting to these people and then figuring out that they're DQ, right? So you want to try your best not to spend time chatting with DQ leads. Now, it's very, very offer depending, right? Because like, see, for that offer like John's, it's very, very, very offer depending. There's so many offers, boys. I put it to you like this, right? How many electrical businesses do you have in Ireland do you think there is?
Oh, like a good number on that.
Yeah, a fuck ton.
Yeah.
And how many of those do you think would be shite to work for?
More than half.
Yeah, there you go, right? So it's the same with setting. Not necessarily more than half, but it's similar with setting. It's similar in every industry. Some offers you might land, they might not be good. But what's the good thing that you have? You have us in your corner. You will know if it's not good. You can speak to us. You can ask us questions, and we'll be able to advise you to go again, right? So like, for me, I didn't have that. That's why I sat for fucking 3 months with that girl on that offer and wasted so much time, because she was telling me it was going to this, going to that, going to the other, and I didn't have anybody to go to. You know what I mean? I didn't have any help or any guidance. But there is definitely going to be, like, sometimes you might get an offer that has like, it differentiates, because what person X might be selling is so different to what Y might be selling, and it will attract such a different audience. You know, like, thankfully now there's not many Indians texting me these days, but once upon a time there probably was. But anyways, right, what we're going to do today, boys, is I just want to kind of go through of me. I get my pen out here. No, I go through text, right? So zoom in here. But what does your first 24, 48, and then 72 hours getting on an offer? Getting on an offer. What does this actually look like, right? So anybody here that has some experience with this want to give a little bit of an insight in terms of how they've felt and what they've done? Who's in here that I want to get experience from? Everyone, Ross. Joe, in the most condensed way possible. In the most condensed way possible, Joe. Give us a brief insight into your first 24 hours getting on an offer.
To be honest, first 24 hours, it was just like, the first thing I was doing was like just looking at previous conversations, looking at what way the previous setter, you know, what basically the offer I jumped on, the first 24 hours, she gave me a list of successful conversations. So like, I was looking at successful conversations, checking it, comparing it to what we were doing, and just seeing, like, you know, it was only that new framework that we put in there the other day. I was saying it like to David, like, you know, like when to ask this question, when to ask that question, and is there something here that can help me, you know, improve even more? Like, is there a question that maybe instead of asking the goal question, I ask it in a different way, you know? And there was a little bit of that on the offer. What else is there?
So getting
No,
onto the on IG, right? Looking back over successful convos and figuring out your arse from your elbow, right? So how do you figure out your arse from your elbow? You just make a workflow, right? And you organize the inbox as well, right? And what do I mean by these things? Because I'm sure you are probably very, very like confused, right? So a workflow, right? Let me just move over to what a workflow looks like. So if we put up here workflow, right? So Adrian or Joe, do you guys think you have either an understanding of what a workflow means, right? So what I mean by a workflow is Adrian, fire ahead, brother. Again, condensed, Adrian.
Yeah, workflow is of course your kind of pattern daily on a daily like step-by-step manner. So like your point A would be, check your notification, well, check your inbox from, the last night. So then of course you would follow through that. Then you would let's check your notifications, follow your, check the follows, check the CTA, check the anything, engagement, likes, comments, you name it. And then after that, of course, outreach to previous leads. If not, then do outbound, something like that. So your workflow is the sequence of work from start to finish on the day.
Sequence of what?
I could jump in there and say the same as Adrian, just back it up a little bit. The first thing I did every morning was follow-ups, check the stories, check the comments, check the likes, and check if anybody reacted to the polls. And that was the first thing I do every single morning because they'd be the warmest leads.
Let me show you this little workflow that I have made here from back in the day. Right. So we look, it's called David's workflow. This is when David was a student and me and him jumped on. And this is what we went through, right? So I'm actually just going to copy this and I'm going to literally paste this into the Miro board here. So everybody gets clear flow, right? So workflow is your sequence of work, right? It's when you start setting, what do you do, right? What is the first thing you do, right? What do you do when you've done X, Y, Z? What do you then move on to when you've done X, Y, Z? What do you then move on to when you've done that too, right? And how I kind of like to make a workflow is like this, right? So let's drag all this over to here, right? So let's say this is your workflow now, Davin. You just got onto an offer, right? And let's say, Dav, as well, that you were working 9 to 5, right? Or not 9 to 5, you were finished your 9 to 5, right? And then let's say you were locked the fuck in. You were up at 6 in the morning, like a motherfucker, hitting the road hard, down to the gym, back home, had the eggs scrambled and all by 9 o'clock. That's a serious start to the day, right? And then you were getting cracking in with the setting, right? So this is what we would do, right? So you would start your day, Dav, setting at 9 o'clock, right? Now, the first thing you are going to do is you are going to go on to the closer's calendar, right? So if there is any language I use that you do not understand in what I say, you ask me. Because, Davin, I'm going to ask you to give me a full breakdown of everything I say to you when I'm done doing this. I'm going to ask you what the word workflow means, and I'm going to ask you to break down every single step here. So I'm going to ask you to explain to the lads what workflow is, basically, that I'm done. So if you don't know what anything I say is, you fucking ask me, okay? Right? So Dad gets back home from the gym, eggs are flipped, scrambled, buttered bread, everything done, 9 a.m., starting to work, right? Now, the first thing Dad does, sits down at his beautiful desk, right? He gets going. The first thing he does, right, is pre-call notes, right? So all calls that day, notes for the closer, right? So what does he basically do? Let me put this in simple language, right? So checks the closer's calendar, finds out what calls are on, and then makes notes for the closer, right? So what do I mean by this? Do you know what I mean by this, Dav, now? And don't be afraid to say no.
I've heard it back in previous calls,
Okay.
like SDR calls and stuff like that. Like you, and I watched Jordan Davidson's interview he had with him today, and he was saying as well, like the setter has everything ready for the close or something. Makes his life easier, and all he has to do is close the deal.
Yeah, exactly. So if you look at a setter and a closer, it's like a husband and wife. What do you want can you let Ryan be in? Yeah. What do you want your wife? Let me add him in there quickly. Boys. What do you want your wife to do? Boys, right? I think about my wife, my perfect wife. If I was still a Sparky, every single day, if I'm still sparking, she's at home taking care of the kids, right? Every day, home dinner is ready when I come home. It's on the table, hot, right? Waiting for me. Why? Because I'm going out making the bread, right? If I'm going out making the bread, most she can do is at least butter, right? So what I mean by this, Stav, is you've just had a conversation with Adrian over the last 2 days, and you've booked him in, Davin. You've gone to the gym this morning, right? You've had your scrambled eggs. You're sitting at your desk. It's 9 o'clock. You open up the closer's calendar. Bang, there's Adrian, right? It's 9 a.m. Adrian's on today at 5. Okay, right? So what do I do now? I go back to my conversation with Adrian. I screenshot it all. I put it to ChatGPT, and I say, can you make notes on this for the closer, please? So the closer can have a brief of insight and say, yeah, let's say, Dav, you're setting for Peter Pan, right? Dav, when he gets onto the call, Adrian with Adam say, you were chatting to Peter. He filled me in a little bit on what you were chatting about. Well, you weren't. Adrian wasn't chatting to Peter. He was chatting to you. Do you get me? Right? So that's what pre-call notes are, right? So pre-call notes are the first thing you do. Why? Because you want to have that just off the box. This is a workflow, right? Now, the next thing you want to do, boys, right, is reminders for the calls that you have on that day, right? So let me just draw this out really quickly. I'm going to draw a really quick calendar here for you lads. Boys, this is going to be a long call. So if anybody has to get out of here, or if anybody needs to get popcorn and tuck in, I'm going to be on here until everybody fucking understands what we're talking about tonight. If I have to ask every single one of you, right? Let me get a pen here real quickly. So let me move this as well. So if we look at it like this, right? This is Adam's calendar, Adam, right? And Adam has got call today at, let's say we've got 12, we've got 1, we've got 2, right? We've got 3, and we've got 4. And we'll put on 5 and 6 as well, right? So 5 and 6. Right, okay. So this is Adam's calendar. Now, let me move you boys this side as well, so it's easier for me. Right, so this is Adam's calendar, and it'll just say, so for at 12 a.m., let's put down TM for team meeting, right? So Adam's got a team meeting, boys, at 12, right? And his first call, let's say sales call, sales call. And then we can say Harry, right? And Harry is the lead's name, right? Now, he's got his first sales call today at 2 p.m., right? So you are going to have access to this, Davin. Whenever you are on an offer, you will have access to your closer's calendar. Why? So you can see what times the leads that you book in are basically on, right? So now, today, Davin knows, sitting at his desk, that he's got Harry at 2 p.m., right? Now, he also knows that we've got another sales call with, like we said, Adrian, right? Got another sales call with Adrian, and this call is at 4, right? And let's say we've got one more call for the day, because Adam likes to go and have dinner. Adam likes to have dinner at 5, and this is going to be a real person's calendar, Dad, right? So you're going to see, like if I go onto my calendar, I have the gym, I have content ideation, filming, whatever. I have it all sectioned out, so when I'm doing it. So this guy could have anything on here. He could have in between this time here, we could just say meditation, meditation. Anything this lad does. And now, look, I'm not saying every weapon closer does meditates, but I'm just randomly, you know what I mean? And then we've got another call at 6, right? So we've got another sales call at 6 with Owen. Right, sweet. So Dav's after jumping on. He's after having a look today. He's after looking at Adam's calendar. And here's how it looks. So the main things we need to highlight from his calendar today is this. We need to highlight this. We need to highlight this. And we need to highlight this. Because that's what's important to us. They're all the calls that we've set. right? And now we know today that these calls are on. So Dav, think about it this way, right? The second thing that you do that day, after you have already dropped the notes for all these conversations, the notes are already in the Discord or in the Slack channel or anything like that. Don't worry, Slack, the Discord, it's literally where they'll have the management and the back end behind it. So you can see when the lead books, when you send somebody the link to book a call, it's going to come up in the Discord, bang, booked calls channel, call's just been booked. Let's say you just booked somebody in called Harry Plunkett, just booked in. Why does he want to do this? His budget, his phone number, his Instagram, and you'll be able to see straight away, right? So anyways, you're going to have your pre-call notes done. So you're going to look at all these guys, right? Okay, I have to get Harry's pre-call notes in, they're done. I have to get Adrian's pre-call notes in, they're done. Owen's pre-call notes in, they're done, right? Now, after this is done, then the next thing we want to do is reminders. We want to send these guys reminders because why? They're on a call today, right? After we finish having a conversation with these people, the conversation doesn't end there. We want to ensure they fucking show up so we can make money. And we also want to make sure that they're bought in. You know, when you book a lead in, that's not where it ends. It's not where it ends. It finishes when you see them pay money, right? So you want to make sure you do everything you can. So if we were to break down here, reminders, right? I want you to take this down. So it's like reminder sequence. So I'm just going to write down here reminders or reminders, right? Reminders. How do reminders work? So we want to send a reminder 24 hours. 24 hours. We want to send an hour on the day of. We want to send a reminder 3 hours. And then we want to send a reminder 1 hour, right? Now, boys, this is excessive. But what am I doing here? I am ensuring that my show rate is as best as it can be. 24 hours. So let's say it's Dav, this is the night before you, Dav, you're getting up at your 6 a.m. hitting the gym. This is the night before. The night before you went to bed, you had a quick 10 minutes on the calendar, right? Let's see who's on Adam's calendar tomorrow. Oh shit, yeah. Hey, Harry, Adrian, Owen. I'll send the boys the reminders now. Yo, Harry, just checking in, brother, to see if you're all good for your call tomorrow with Adam. Sweet, okay. Yo, Adrian, just making sure you're good for your call tomorrow with Adam. Sweet, yeah, sweet. Literally, that's what we're doing, right? So on our 24-hour reminder, we're literally just saying, yo, Harry, you all good for the call tomorrow, brother, right? And now this is going to want to have been said while you're still, like, post-book report doesn't have to be crazy, right? I'm not saying you need to be texting this fella every few minutes, right? But there is what you're going to say for your 24-hour one. Oh, get rid of that, right? Simply as easy as that. Yo, Harry, you all good for your call tomorrow, brother, right? Yeah, perfect. Now we go on to the day of. So that day of. So the morning you wake up and you look at your workflow and you see, right, okay, reminders for calls that day, right? So now the day of. What are we saying on the day of? All we're going to say is something like this. We're going to say, morning, Harry, looking forward to connecting later. You still good to go? Question mark. Bang. Easy as that. Morning, Harry. Looking forward to connecting. Right? Looking forward to connecting later. You still good to go? Easy as that. Right? And you can have these all saved. Boys, if you go onto Instagram, right? If I go onto Instagram really quickly, and if I go into, let me look up Adrian real quick. Adrian. Actually, no, I'll look up you, Davin.
Okay.
Right? Davin Ford. So, sweet. Here's Davin, right? Here's me and Davin. If I go into my messages, right, and if I click this speech bubble here, right, you can click on the speech bubble and go to save replies. So you can save loads of replies that instead of typing out the full message, you can just go A1. A1 and a full message will be there, bang, ready to go for you, right? So Instagram has saved replies. And as well as that, I could text Davin right now, right? I'll type this out. I'll say, yo, Dav, you good to go for tomorrow's call? tomorrow's call, right? Now let's say, or sorry, you got to go for the call in 1 hour. Now guys, look, there it is typed out. If I go to the send button and hold it down, I can schedule that message to be sent to Davin. Instead of actually texting Davin that now, I can choose whatever day, whatever time I want that message to be sent to Davin. So you can schedule your follow-ups. Be fucking ahead of it, right? If you're going doing something for a few hours and you can't set, but you know you have follow-ups or reminders to send, just automate them. Make your life 10 times easier, you know, right? So for the 3-hour follow-up, simply as easy as this, what do you want to say, right? So take her easy, Barry. Just be aware, Barry, on Wednesday, man, it's never an hour. I always tend to go over, right? But on your 3-hour one, you just want to say, yo, brother, just reminding you about the call in three hours. Make sure you got Zoom ready to rock. Right? Simple as that. Easy follow. Another easy follow-up. Right? So, yo, brother, just reminding you of your call in 3 hours. Make sure you got Zoom ready to rock. Again, boys, what are you trying to do here? Your show up rate. Right? You want to ensure these leads are showing up. Right? You always want to ensure the leads are showing up to the call at a minimum. So by you doing your follow-ups like this, what are you doing? You're making sure all of the outliers that are in your court are at least taken care of, right? And then 1 hour before the call, right? So Dav, if you have access to Adam's calendar, usually what you're going to be able to do is if you see this call here with Adrian, I click on the call with Adrian, and now information about the call is after showing up. You should be able to get the link to the call, copy that link, right? And then bang, your 1 hour reminder. Look how easy you're making it. Yo, Adrian. Here's, or instead of yo, saying, here's the link to our call in 1 hour. Speak soon. Bang, link sent. Easy as that. So easy, boys. It actually does not get easier. It actually does not get any easier whatsoever, right? So there is your follow-ups. There, your 24-hour, your day of, your 3-hour, your 1 hour reminder, right? Now, going back over here, what have we now done, right? So Dav has the gym done, he's the exit, he's got the notes made, he's got the reminders all sent out. Right, now what does he do? Right, how I like the set now next was, I go to anyone you've pitched to follow up with, right? So what does pitched mean? Is there anything, where is the confusion here, Dav? Anyone you've pitched follow up with, right? Are you confused?
No, I suppose they haven't replied or something like that.
Exactly.
Or they said they'd be back to you again, or
right? So, boys, if you look on Instagram as well, right? Instagram has this thing where you're able to label a conversation. So if I go into me and Davin's conversation here again, where's Dav? Or even David Ahi, right? David Ahi is the first one to come up there, right? So I can label David as anything. If you boys can see my camera there, David, underneath David's name, it says green and it says paid. But if I click on the tag, I can change that label from paid to booked, lead, ordered, paid, right? So I'm going to take a screenshot of this, lads, and I'm going to drop it into the WhatsApp group chat, right?
do you set up those labels yourself? Yeah.
Yeah, you can set them. Most creators will have all them labels set up on their account, right? So, boys, have a look at what I'm after. Just drop it into the group chat there, right? So, booked, lead, ordered, paid, dispatched, right? I'll also show you a quick sequence. Whoever doesn't get to say and watch this as well, boys, definitely watch this back. It's going to be some serious sauce, right? But when it comes to that, right? So, them labels are key as well. And these are all little things that you'll learn to get onto an offer, but they're also little things, I suppose, too, which is great to know. There's a lot of value that we're covering over in this one, a lot of value, right? But I'm also going to take down how I organize it based off leads, how I would have organized it when I was a setter, right? So if we go to lead, we then have what's next after lead. We have lead, dispatched. It makes it a little longer. Lead, dispatched. What's next? We have ordered, we have booked, and we have paid, right? So it's very, very simple, right? So how do I operate when I was setting in the DMs, right? So what I would have done is this. So for anybody that I pitched a call, anybody that I said, right, so when I say pitch a call, Dav, what does pitch a call mean? Take a guess at what I've texted them to make clear, to label them as pitched. What did I say to them?
You've offered them the link, and I tell you what I can do for you is I can get you on a call with my right hand man. Or
Yeah, exactly.
you've
Exactly.
pitched it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Here, Cody Lawler, are you in this? You after texting me saying, can we get into the call? I swear I see him in. Did you text me that there now?
I texted you earlier.
All right, it's only coming up on the bin said thing there now. How are you getting on? All right. Bowled head in you.
Huh?
The bowled head in you.
Not too
Well,
bad.
anyways.
Had a couple of no-shows.
Why is that? You need to figure out why they're not showing. Are you following up?
Yeah, of course. I send pre-call resources like the morning of their call, and then send them a text during the day, and then say, and obviously try call them to confirm them. And like some of them, when I was setting them, they were so interested. They were like, yeah, oh, I'm so
Figure out
excited.
what the top guys are doing to make sure their leads are showing up. Like even jump on a networking call or two.
There is no top guys really. That's the thing.
Why is there no top guys?
Like most of their money is coming from webinars. There's like, I say there's one setter that's collecting a little bit of cash, and then the rest of them are just kind of not really bothered. That's why they're bringing on all the Beyond Set boys, is because they're going to throw off all the other guys, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
David, that is something you just need to work on the offers, then obviously the show it. Right. But back to this anyways, right? So you're right, exactly that, Gavin. The second you send, here's what I can do. Let's put you on a call with my right-hand man, sweet, right? Ordered is basically the second you send that message, the second you say, let's get you in a call with my right-hand man, Adam, he can show you exactly how to, so the second you offer call. The second you offer a call, you're going to basically label them ordered, right? And this is called, I'm going to really quickly title this, boys, the labeling SOP. Labeling SOP, right? So the second you offer a call, you want to call it you want to label them now as ordered. Change the flag on their chat as ordered, right? I'm sure, Dav, you can imagine what I mean when I say booked.
Yeah, so they're after clicking on the link and booking in a day.
Call.
Yeah.
It came up in the Discord and they've just booked the call, right? So now it comes to lead and dispatched, right? So lead is Dave, a good job, bracket qualified. So every lead on the account that I was setting for that seemed qualified, I always put them down as lead, right? And dispatched can vary, right? So dispatched can be anything you want it to be. Usually for dispatched, I put it on like people that have, to be honest with you, I don't even need you to really use dispatch that much. Lead, ordered, booked, and paid, right? Paid means what? They joined the mentorship, right? So if we put that like this, paid, booked, ordered, and lead. Anyone have any confusion there? Right? Very, very, very straightforward. Very straightforward. Let me grab this. Put it down here. Right? That is the labeling SOP right there. Super straightforward. Right? And what this is going to do is it's going to help you organize your inbox. Right? So when I say organize your inbox, if you also go onto Instagram, you can sort conversations by. So when I say, Davin, anyone that you've pitched, follow up with. When I say that, what I mean is go on to Instagram, right? Go into your DMs, click the three dots up in the top right corner, right? And it'll say select chats. No, not that one, sorry. Click this button here. So you'll have primary, you'll have requests, and you'll have general. And beside primary, there should be this button here, right? And if I click that, am I clicking it? Yeah. If I click this, it'll show me filter by all these options. So I can click on everyone that's just ordered, and then it'll only show up conversations in my DMs that people have pitched a call to, right? And that were never changed from ordered to booked, right? So it's just keeping, like, I was so hyper organized. That's why I made a lot of money when I was back setting in my day, because I was just like, fuck it, like, I'm doing this shit, I'm being the best I can be. You know what I mean? So that's what I mean, right? So now, you've just done your pre-call notes, Dav. You've just done your reminders for the day. You've just followed up with all the people that you've pitched a call to, right? Now it's time to clear the inbox top to bottom, right? So now you're going to go into the Instagram, and anybody, right? So if you go into your Instagram DMs, you literally just clear from top to bottom. Top to bottom. Do not skip, right? Do not go down and choose a random fucker first that sent you a message an hour ago. Make sure you follow up with the first person and keep going through that list. Clear the inbox. Reply to every lead. So clear the inbox from top to bottom means reply to every lead. And when I say prioritize for live combos, do you know what that means, Dav? Prioritize for live combos.
Somebody who's active, no, and chatting, no. That's interested to talk, no.
Yes. Prioritize for live combos. Yes, brother. You know exactly what I'm fucking talking about, right? So when I say that, you reply to everybody that you're meant to reply to, right? The obviously people that haven't been replied to. But if you just text back Harry and you're going to go now and text back Cody, right? And while you just text back Harry, sorry, right? Harry's just been replied to. You just text back Cody. Now you're going into text back Ryan. And while you go into text back Ryan, Harry's just after texting you back. Go back to him first because he is live and he is on it right now. You want to prioritize for more live conversations because if somebody's on their phone texting you, text them back. Don't be afraid to text them back. After they've done texting you, text them back straight away. Don't ever be like afraid, oh, I wanted to give them a few minutes. No, prioritize live conversations, push the needle forward, push it forward, right? So now, next thing you do, all the inbox has just been cleared. Everything is cleared. There's not a single message to reply to Davin. Congratulations. Good day's work in the office, right? Now, we're not done there. Where do we move to next? We need to now move on to warm outbound, right? And warm outbound is as straightforward as it is. New followers, scroll through story views, post comments, post likes, right? We want to start doing outbound. And usually, right, usually on an offer, the KPIs, right? KPIs, which mean key performance indicators. So key performance indicators vary, right? But warm outbound tends to be at about 150. So 150 warm outbounds a day. And then follow-ups tends to be the same, about 150, right? So this is kind of what most offers, like KPIs, there would be, because they're going to ask you to do a certain amount of follow-ups and a certain amount of inbound. And 9 times out of 10, it's probably going to be 150 booked, right? So warm outbound, start outbounding new people, and start following up. But always prioritize live conversations. Always, 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 right? So that is your workflow, right? And I know we've covered a lot here already, boys. When you look at it, like, we have covered a lot, to be fair. And this is like, you know, there's a lot to kind of get your head around. And it's going to be overwhelming. No matter how much I prepare you, it's going to be overwhelming. That's simple as that. No, if the first time you walk into the gym, no matter how many videos you watch of fucking Steve lifting fucking weights, you're still going to be nervous going in yourself, right? No matter how many videos of people you see canoeing, right? Second you get into something and try something for your first time for yourself, it's different ball game. No matter how many theory tests, here's the one, driving theory tests, mocks you do online. You go in and do the actual real one, you're going to be nervous. Simple as that, boys, right? It's the way life is. It's the way life is. Every time you do something for the first time, it's going to be nerve-wracking. And that's something you just got to accept. So the second you get onto an offer, no matter what, it's going to be nerve-wracking. And that's just life, right? But first 24 hours look like getting onto the IG, getting logged in, right? Looking back over successful conversations. So have a look and see, have a look through the Instagram's conversations. Have a look and see what the other setter used to say. Have a look and see if there's anything that he's doing that you like. Now, just because there was somebody else setting before you does not mean everything that they did was perfect, So don't take everything that they do as being perfect, right? Don't fall into that trap of thinking that the setter before you was amazing and knows everything more than you do, right? There's a lot here. Has anybody got any questions so far? Is everybody keeping up with where we are? Graham, are you keeping up where we are, brother?
Sorry, lads, yeah, just got on getting me book there, but yeah, I'm keeping up with it, lads, yeah.
Good, good. Hugh?
I am, yeah.
Good, good stuff. I liked what you did with me the other day. That was a good fucking idea. Fair play to you, man. Fair play to you.
Sound.
Ivan?
Yeah, man. Keeping up
Keeping
with
up? Good shit. Ronan?
Yeah.
Any questions from any of us? No. Fair play to you, boys, because we're going deep into it tonight and we're covering a lot of really good stuff. So fair play to you, lads. If you have any questions about everything, anything that I've down so far, like, let me know. Because there's a lot there, right? There is a lot there, and I know that. But it's just about, you know, making it as digestible for you as possible, so you're not fucking spitting out regurgitating stuff that you half heard me say, half didn't heard me say. You know what I mean? But anyways, right, first 24 hours, getting into the IG, organizing the inbox, right? So organizing the inbox is straightforward, this labeling SOP, right? So if we look at organizing the inbox, this is exactly what I mean, right? We look at workflow, here's the line already. This is exactly what I mean. Workflow is there, right? Looking back on successful conversations, yes, have a look back at some conversations from a setter that was there before you, right? And just start to set, you know, start swimming, like, just start going, start working, right? Familiarize yourself with their offer, right? Familiarize. Jesus, I spelled that right the first time. That is good, right? Familiarize yourself with the offer. Right. So what I mean by familiarizing yourself with the offer is find out its variables, right? So like, what form of coaching is it? Because if you don't know what it is that you're not necessarily selling, but if you don't know what it is that you're talking about or meant to be talking about, right, you need to be familiar. Familiarize yourself with this person, right? Familiarize yourself with the offer plus the offer owner, actually, plus the offer owner. Right? Because the more you know about the offer owner, the more ammunition you have in the DMs, right? If you know that he loves golf, or if you know that he loves fucking whatever, right? Whatever it is that he likes. That's more ammunition so you can be more like him. Figure out his tone, right? It's like somebody, let's say one of you had to set for me. You'd have to embody the fact that I'm 24, I'm Irish, I'm very, very big into God. I'm an ex-Sparky, you know, so like there are things you'd have to remember in your mind when you're setting. This guy is, you know, this, let me just make sure I'm matching the language that would suit him, right? But in your first 24 hours, like, that's mainly going to be it, lads, right? Like, just getting familiar with everything, figuring out like a little SOP for yourself to organize the inbox, right? Figuring out a workflow for yourself, getting access to the closer's calendar, right? Figuring out the reminders. So just knowing your shit, right? Just simply, like, that's kind of it. And then after that, like, right, so after your first 24 hours, then we go to, let's say, the first 48 hours, right? And even when I think about the first 48 hours, it's like there's nothing crazy now. Let me see, just first 48 hours. So there's nothing really crazy that's standing out in my mind that's like, right, in the first 48 hours, this specifically is going to be something that happens, right? Like there's not. But let's say the only difference I think that there could be maybe is you're going to be having a lot of conversations, right? So you're going to start to, the training stabilizers are going to start to come off. That's number one. But yeah, now it's just about getting comfortable. Simply just getting comfortable. But like if you know, like that, they're kind of the majority of the things that you want to know that we've kind of gone over so far, right? Has anybody, Davin, do you want to go through this actually for me real quickly, right? Go through the workflow and give me an explanation of what everything is there. Can you see that all right?
Yeah.
See, so give me a breakdown, Dav, from what you've gathered now. And Dav, never be afraid. If there's anything you don't understand, I'll walk you through it, brother. Right? So let me know where we're at.
Okay. Yeah, so the pre-call notes is for the closer. Call reminders for the day. You'll be sending him. checking his calendar would be first. And you can use ChatGPT to summarize your version of the leads notes, prospect notes. Next, lead reminders. You have 24 day of, 3 hour, and 1 hour type reminder for each lead. So anyone you've pitched, follow up with. Next, you can organize the SOPs, label them with each. So you'd have qualified, lead, qualified, ordered, second you offer the call, booked, call booked for closer, paid. That means they've joined the mentorship. To access that, to be able to create the labels, 3 dots up right corner in Instagram in the DM. Clear top to bottom, reply to all live convos first. Reply to every conversation, but reply to all live convos first. Warm up, so new followers, scroll through story views, likes, posts, post comments, post likes. I didn't get the rest of that one, to be fair, but anybody who's kind of in the ecosystem, really.
Yeah, 100% ecosystem, perfect word to describe that, right? And then follow-ups, man. Then just spam follow-ups, right? And like if you're to say follow-ups, like, right, there's 2 different types of follow-ups that we used, right? Well, we won't narrow it down to 2 specifically, right? But if we look at follow-ups here, and let me just make this a little skinnier for just because I want to. How do we make it skinnier? It's not letting me. No, right, sweet. That's all right. Right, let's move away from here. So, right, so we look at follow-ups for a second. Right, so there's more than 2, but these are kind of the 2 that I like to maybe use the most. So value-based follow-up, and then value-based and personal. Right, now personal can be a little bit more personal-based, a little bit more time-consuming, but value-based is possibly the easiest one. Right, so when I say personal-based, let's say you're chatting to a lead and they've gone cold on you for the last couple of days. They post something on their story, right? So they post, so lead posts on story, right? So what do you want to do? What you want to do is you just simply want to outbound via their story, right? So follow up from their story. Right? Let's say he posts a fucking, like, something on his story about being on holidays. Yo, man, looks sick where you are. Look, the place looks beautiful. Whereabouts are you? Right? Something simple. Now, that's personal based. It doesn't have to always be this. But if somebody says something, you can see when you're going through the conversations, you might be able to see a red circle around their name, right? And then that you know that they have something on their story. Go check, see what's on their story. That'll bring more engagement, right? And then value-based follow-up, right? So you've just spoke to this lead. So lead has intent, right? So the lead has intent. He's interested in what it is you sell, right? Now he's after dropping off, right? But stopped chatting, right? Now, Dav, let's say the person you work for literally just dropped a new YouTube video, right? So you could reach back out to this lead saying, yo, Dav, just dropped this video. Thought it might help you with XYZ, right? So bang, there's 2 different types of follow-ups, right? And now there's not just those, there's possibly generic ones too. So when I say generic follow-ups, this is kind of generic follow-up here, right? Let's go generic follow-ups. Now these work too, like loads of people still use these, but to be honest, I like to try stick to as much value-based as I can, right? As much value-based as I can. Where sometimes it actually only makes sense. Let me actually just get rid of that. Why am I doing that? But sometimes it actually only makes sense to do a generic follow-up. So when we look at generic follow-up, right? This is what I mean. So generic follow-up would be, hey Dav, just checking you got my last message, right? There could also be, hey Dav, just checking you got my last message. Let me just fix all this. Yes, 10th. So hey Dav, just checking out my last message. There could also be a you could also reply to your last message. So reply to last message.
Reply to your own last message, is it?
Reply to your own last message saying just bumping this in case you missed it. Right? And let me actually number these. So bang. Yeah. And why is that like that? Get rid of that. What the fuck? What's going on? Right. So hey Dav, just checking out my last message. Just bumping this in case you missed it. And you could also send a GIF, right? And what I used to do is I used to send this GIF. I'll actually do it in the onset group chat right now. So I used to say that send this. Look, this is my favorite, one of my favorite follow-ups, to be fair. I used to spam this because it was easy to get out. So Batman. I used to send this as well, taking the piss sometimes. And if it was a woman, because I was on Eileen's account too. So this is what I used to do on Eileen's account. 1 second. Yeah. I used to send this one. Let me know when you're back from saving the city, girl. And the thing is, they'd laugh, right?
Yeah.
I'd get like they'd find it funny, right? So there are 2 follow up there again that I'd send out as well. Let me know when you're back from saving the city, Batman. Let me know when you're back from saving the city, girl. Right? And simple. Right. So, hey Dav, just checking out my last message. GIF sent in group chat. Right? Sent in group chat. Now, like, that's kind of in terms of your follow up. Like, that's it. And you want to follow up like when to follow up, right? So like when do I follow up? There's a lot here now. It's getting bigger and bigger. Let me go over to follow-ups. Oh shit. Put this as follow. No. Right. Follow-ups. Let me make this black or red or something so it's clearly you know what's important. Follow-ups, right? There's our follow-ups here. Let me put a little no thank you. And now when to follow up. That's what comes next. When do we follow up? Right, so let me duplicate this, put it here. Now, rid of all that. When to follow up. Has anyone any idea when they should follow up? Or like anything about follow-ups? So far. It's all right if you don't.
Would it be
No
like reverse rotation of lead reminders, like 1 hour, 3 hours day of 24?
Yeah, no, not that extent, because Jesus, you won't have time to shit, man, if you're following up with everybody after 1 hour, if they hadn't reminded you. Jesus, I wouldn't get you all to fucking join Beyond Set, man, if that's what you had to do, right? But when to follow up is this, right? So what I used to do is just after 24 hours. 24 hours, 24-hour follow-up, right? Then 48-hour follow-up. And then last one is 72-hour follow-up. 48 plus 24 is 72. 72-hour follow-up. Right? Simple as that. Simple as that. You don't really want to be doing too much, right? So after simple follow-up, and you can choose which one at which point. It doesn't really matter, right? So when to follow up, it's 24 hours, 48 hours, 72 hours, right? Now, when you're following up with a lead that's booked a call, what I do is different, right? So let me show you how to follow up with a lead that's actually pitched a call. So let me just make a new one. Following up with pitched leads, right? Now, so after like 6 hours, what I'd say is you find a time that works, question mark. Right, now, the lead is pitched. You find a time that works after 6 hours, and after 24 hours, we'll leave them be. We don't want to be too plaguey. After 24 hours, we'll be like, yo, brother, you still there? Question mark. And then after 48 hours, say, you serious about this? And that's that. If they don't get back to you, unfortunately, something went wrong in the process, and then when they clicked the link, they got spooked. So they got spooked somewhere. There wasn't enough buy-in. There wasn't enough something, right? But this is kind of, after you've pitched the lead, this is kind of what you want to be doing in terms of following up, because you still want to follow up with them, even though you sent them the link to book the call. They said they're going to book it. You want to make sure you're getting your bookings in over the line, right? So, boys, has anyone any questions? We're after covering a feckin' lot tonight, a lot, right? Thank you, Dav, for being so interactive too. But what was that? Somebody just raised their hand, or what was that noise?
Yeah, just so these follow-ups, texts and shit like that, that's just for people who didn't book the call yet, is it?
No, you follow up with normal people too, right? So when to follow up, you follow up with 24 hours, 40 hours, 72 hours, right? And then following up with a pitched lead is different, right? So you follow up with everybody, right? If you've done outbound, so let's say, Ronan, you jumped on, you've done everything you need to do, now you're doing outbound. And that's outbound is the first message sent. Hey, Ronan, I appreciate the follow, brother. What brought you to the page, or what brought you to the page? You looking to get into trading, or are you already doing it? Now, let's say, Ronan, I sent you that message yesterday and you didn't reply to me, right? The follow-up is me sending you another message today saying, yo, Ronan, just checking you got this, bro. After you not even replying to my first one. That's what a follow-up is.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Well, yeah.
And you follow up with these people, even if they haven't actually got to that stage of the conversation, no matter what stage it is. If you send them a message, outbound, anything, you always follow up with leads, right?
Yeah.
But if they don't reply to you within 72 hours, I'd leave it for a couple of days and then get back to them when you're doing, say one day you decide, right, I'm going fucking ham for the next hour or 2 hours on follow-ups. When you're doing your follow-ups, go deep into the inbox. Anybody that dropped off, send them something, or do a value-based follow-up. Because the ones that might entice maybe the most responses will be value-based follow-ups. Why? Because the lead is getting something. They might say thank you, or they might say, oh, I appreciate that, or something like that, right? But yeah, does that clear your question, brother?
Those, yeah.
Good. Does anybody else any other questions for the moment, please? Ivan, how are you?
Good, man.
Any questions at all?
No, people in the
Right, okay.
thing good.
Good.
It's all going in. It's all going in.
Yeah, good. It's heavy. This is heavy, and I like that. Sometimes you need to do a lot of brain power use. Today. I'd say there's a lot of you already after you and a good bit of brain power as well today too. So I'd say is they're fairly fucked now after this call. But this is the beauty of it, boys. The beauty of life is this. You make what you choose to make of life. It's as simple as that, right? At the end of the day, boys, I have nothing but respect for all of you, because why? You're going doing a hard day's graft, and then after that, you're trying to build something better. But that building something better, boys, I promise you, is not done between the hours of 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. That's currently sustaining. You are simply sustaining by showing up between 7 and 5. And what does sustaining mean? That means staying where you are now. Because escaping that doesn't happen in those hours. It happens after. And boys, this moment, this period, this stage of your life you're in right now, where you're currently learning this doesn't last forever. This doesn't last forever, right? This is simply a period you have to go to, that every successful person had to go through. Unless they had mommy's or daddy's money and were able to fucking do whatever they wanted, right? If you are self-made, this is every single this is where every come up journey starts. This period here now, right? So I have nothing but respect for you lads, staying on, getting it down, taking down the notes, right? But remember, this is what you have to do. And remember, this does not last forever, right? Because you ask God for sunshine, or you ask God for flowers, he's going to give you rain first, right? If any of you are struggling mentally, struggling in any way in your life right now, get up in the morning and show gratitude for what you have. Because I'm looking, I can only see 4 lads on my screen right now. And I know when I look at Graham, I look at Davin, I look at Ronan, and I look at Ivan, that each 4 of you have an absolute exponential amount of things in your life to be grateful for. A crazy amount of things. All 4 of you are healthy. You're all looking at a phone or a laptop, right? You all have family. You all have friends. Some of you have kids, right? You have blessings upon blessings upon blessings in your life. Show gratitude for what it is that you actually have right now, and ask God to give you strength, to give you power, to give you courage, to keep walking the path that leads you to the real happiness that you're hoping for, right? And remember as well, when I say that, right, it's contrary, because getting to that destination won't provide you with happiness then. You need to find happiness in the pursuit, right? And not the pursuit of happiness, the pursuit of where you want to get to, right? Because if you tie happiness with this outcome, this make money online, getting off the sites, whatever it is, if you have happiness tied with that, your self-worth won't be where it needs to be until you get to that level. Trust me, boys, when you achieve what it is that you say you want to achieve, it's going to be minute. Because when that happens, you're going to realize, fuck, this wasn't that big of a deal after all. Jesus, now fuck this, I want to go on and do this. And then when you do that, you want to go on and do this. And then when you do that, you want to do this and that, and fucking never ends. You know? Happiness is an endless pursuit until you choose it not to be. Until you choose to wake up and choose happiness. It can be hard. It took me a long, long time to learn that myself, boys. That's the funny thing about life. You have to learn it. You have to learn it yourself. No matter what the experience is, no matter what it is in any way, shape, or form, you need to learn it yourself. And that's why age is just a number. You can be 30 and you could lived in your fucking granny's basement since you were 18, do nothing but play games and fucking touch yourself. You're 30 years old. You know what I mean? Does that make him any more experienced than a 25-year-old that's had to go out and get real experience, that's been grafting on the sites? You know what I mean? Age is just a number, boys. Experience comes from life, you know, from real life lessons and being taught things in life. So reflect on your own little bit of a journey tonight. Reflect on where you are right now. Reflect on where you want to go, right? And remember that the period that a lot of you are in right now is the period that God's called you to be in. Because this little phase yours are all going through where you're grinding it out, you're putting in the hours, you're putting in the graft. Everybody has to fucking do it. So embrace it, right? Enjoy the journey. Enjoy the fucking journey, boys. Because I'm telling you, it's going to come fast. Some of you are going to absolutely rip it. Absolutely rip it. And some of you are going to take a little bit slower. Some of you are going to be a little bit of a slow burner. And that's life. No matter what you do, that's life. You know what I mean? But no matter what way your journey takes you, embrace it, right? And show up for yourself. Because nobody can show up for you unless you do, right? But we will always, boys, have, like, from the very, very bottom of my heart, and I mean this with absolute sincerity, we will do everything we can on our end to make sure that we have the best of the best to provide you with. So if you are stuck or if you are like struggling in any aspect, we cannot brain read. Unfortunately, for all of you lovely gentlemen, I cannot access your brain from this side of the screen. If I could, I'd be able to help you a little bit more maybe, right? But I can't. So if you have anything that you're stuck with, all you have to do is send me a message, send Adam a message, send David a message, send a message into the one-to-one channel. It's very, very easy to get my number now, boys. You're all in a group chat with me, right? So if you need anything, you let us know, right? But as I said, if there's anything we can do to make things clearer, to make things easier, to make things better, please just let us know, right? But yeah, if there's one bit of advice that I can give you is, I know sometimes it might sound repetitive, but I'm going to say the same thing again, and it's find God, boys. You know, it's the one thing I can look back on in my whole life and say that's when everything changed for me. I've actually got Mr. Bagnall to thank for that, Mr. Ivan Bagnall. He helped me find God, which is amazing. But yeah, it's the one moment in my life, boys, I can definitely say, looking back now, and I've done a lot of reflecting on my time, because like I said, boys, I may be 24, but fuck, I've been around for a 24-year-old. Right? But yeah, I've done a lot of reflecting in my time. Like, boys, I'm 24 and I've lived in, I'd say maybe plus 40 houses now in this stage. There has like been the longest I've ever lived in one spot has been like 2.5 years. And then after that, it's been an average of 6 months since I've been born. The longest I've ever lived in somewhere was 2 years. You know, I've lived in a lot of places in Ireland, a lot of houses in Ireland, and now all over the world in the last 2 years. So, you know, it's beautiful, and it causes you to look at things differently and, you know, reflect. And no matter what, when I reflect, it all brings me back to one thing. And it brings me back to meeting God, not necessarily physically, but, you know, it just brings me back to meeting God, connecting with God, and allowing me to see who I truly am and express myself the way I need to, so I can become who I want to be and find that happiness. Because trust me, boys, I don't know what your own personal relations are. I'm not a preacher. I'm not this guy that goes around knocking on doors trying to convert people or anything like that. I'm a real dude. And because of that, I'll always share exactly what has helped me the most. And what has helped me the most was finding Jesus. So that's as straight as I can be with you, man. You know, that's as straight as I can be with you. You know, praying in the morning. Every morning, boys, I write down my goals for the day. So, like, if I can show you what I do. So, like, Monday, there's my weekly goals. And then, like, for the day, there's my Tuesday goals, what I did good, what I did bad. Or Monday's goals, Tuesday's goals. Then it brings us to Wednesday's goals. And same with last week as well. Like, a lot of notes, and it's always here in front of me. Like so I can see through the week where my head was and like kind of what I had to do. And as well as that, boys, showing love to people no matter what, right? Remember that your energy is so vital. So don't be that negative person that allows people, like, boys, there's always going to be an arsehole on site. There's always going to be there's always going to be them people. No matter what walk of life you step into, there's always going to be a fella that just aggravates you the wrong way. But imagine being that man that can't control himself. Because I was actually looking back through my camera roll today, boys, and the site I was on last year, there's a picture in the bathroom of someone saying R. Kelly is a nonce, right? And they used to call me, Ivan probably still does, but my best friends would call me R. Kelly, Ryan Kelly, R. Kelly, right? And then obviously on site, Ivan would have called me R. Kelly. So obviously somebody, like, shit like that. I just coincidentally, it came up on my screen, but it just reminded me of like where life was once upon a time, you know? And everything can change, lads. Like, at the end of the day, I'm just another normal young lad from Mullingar, another normal young lad, you know? And like the amount I believe in this is, Ivan's my best friend, and here he is now. Like, you know, he's in here chasing the same thing. The lad's my brother, you know? So this is how much I believe in this. I would never put somebody that I love into something that I didn't truly believe would change their life, you know? So just show up for yourselves, boys, and remember that you're going to be tested. And that's simple as that. I mean, simple as that. Every one of you already fucking have, right? In your own personal lives, family lives, whatever. This has been tested beyond belief. I know it, because I know life, right? Dav, Graham, Ronan, Ivan, all of you, and the rest of the boys. I can only see you guys, right? But these are all going to be tested. That's something that happens in life. Tested emotionally, tested spiritually, tested in forms of alcohol, drugs, every aspect, lads. You know the score at this point, right? But no matter what, remember that you are being tested because there is a greater energy calling you to something more. But the thing is, the universe is working in mysterious ways. There's negative and there's positive, and that's what we are. We are a combustion of atoms, and atoms are negative and positively charged. There will always be a negative side, always, right? There will always be that energy that tries to get you. But when you're aware that it's going to try to get you, it's amazing, right? Because now you know, fuck, this bitch is going to try to stop me. I know they are. So why did I stop now? It's like this, right? I get onto an offer, right? Next thing you know, work is calling me to do more hours. Next thing you know, there's a problem at home. I'm on an offer. My whole life, I feel like I'm drowning. And at that point where you feel like you're drowning, the missus, haven't went for dinner with the missus in fucking 2 weeks. She's hounding me here. What do I do? Right? The baby's crying and screaming. I'm meant to be in here setting. I don't know what to do, pulling my hair out, right? Outwitting the devil. That's exactly what made me stop smoking weed, right? It's not about, sometimes, boys, it's not about looking at what you need to add to your life. Sometimes it's about refining what you already do. And I'm a firm fucking believer of this. If you are going to drop a habit, you need to replace it with something. And I gave up smoking weed, and by God, it grabbed me by the balls. I was staying in my mother's shitty mobile home before me and Ivan were off to Sweden. This a year and a half ago now. Jesus, how long ago that is crazy in my head. But that's how I gave up smoking weed. I started reading Outwitting the Devil, and it tells you exactly what the devil tries to do to stop a man and keep him drifting. Drifting means just living. Doing like not living like fucking Matthew McConaughey, Livin. Living is in just existing, right? So definitely read that book. Changed my life 100%. Gave me a different perspective on things. I'm not a huge guy, boys. I have a book here beside me that I've been tackling in the mornings. It is called The Almanac of Naval Ravikant, a guide to wealth and happiness, right? And it's all about perspective. I'm not surrounded by millionaires, trillionaires, billionaires. I'm not. So where do I get my wisdom? I like to just read a book in the morning and relax. I know it's easy for me to say, boys, because my life is different now. But this is all something that is on your path if you see fit, right? Because like there was nights, I don't know how many times me and Ivan were driving home from site in Sweden, and I was telling him, I don't give a fuck, man. I'm out of here soon. I am out of here soon. And I believed it so much before it happened, boys. I believed it with my whole heart, that it was happening. I believed it. I didn't give a fuck what, no matter what. I knew it in my heart and soul. I knew it. I didn't know what yet. I didn't know how, but I just knew that I was being called for something more. And I did not let that feeling go. No matter how hard I was challenged. And boys, I was fucking challenged. I moved over to Barcelona without a bean. I worked my arse off in Sweden. Saved no money. Spent it all. Right? Moved to Barcelona then after making a few pounds setting. And at the end of my first month there, I had to ask my uncle, who's the same age as me, for a loan to pay my rent. And then the next month, I ended up actually making a few pounds. Right? But I was drowning. I was fucked. I had no handouts, like a lot of you too. No handouts, self-made, right? But you know what the great thing is? At least when you make it, you can say it was all me. There's always people along the way, though. It's never all me. I've met some amazing people in my life. Shout out to Ivan as one of them. You boys are amazing people too. Adam's literally sitting in the far side of that class. He's an amazing person too. Like, there's always amazing people that are going to impact you and change you throughout your journey, and that's life. That's how beautiful life is, But yeah, I suppose, boys, it's been 2 hours now, and I've been waffling away there for a while. If there's any value you get from listening to me, that's God's plan. That genuinely is God's plan. Before I started Beyond Set, really, really early last year, I was doing mental health coaching for people for free. So that's something that really helped my communication skills and really helped me start to understand people more. I used to have a little link in my bio when I was making content, and anybody could chat to me on a Sunday or a Saturday for free. And it really helped me understand people and be able to communicate at a higher level and just understand people. And you know what, boys? At that moment in time, if someone asked me, why are you doing this, Ryan? I'd say, I don't know. But God knew. God knew before I ever fucking knew. And that is a fucking fact. He knew before I ever did. Because when I think back, I was getting handed all these pieces of a puzzle. But I didn't know. They were all being handed to me at different stages. But then eventually when God gave me all the pieces, I could see what he was putting together, But yeah, embrace it, boys. Show glory to God, and yeah, show love, genuinely. There's nothing but things to be excited for. There's so much beauty and joy in this world. I know it's a mad old fucking world that we live in now these days, but I promise you, boys, I promise you from the bottom of my heart, so much can change in such a short matter of time. It's all about what you put out, you get back. And I mean that. What you put out, you get back, right? In every aspect, try to be a good person. I've spent so many years, boys, being a fucking knob, not being a good person and just having a bad outlook, speaking negatively, not speaking good about other people too, being a non-norm arsehole. But when I changed how I looked at things, the things I looked at fucking changed. And it all started I think my life really, really kicked off going to Sweden. It changed a lot of things for me. Even just getting into the work van in the mornings, boys. I used to pray in the van, and like I have actually, to be honest, boys, I actually can't express how grateful I am even to Ivan as his person for like him showing me even how to build a good relationship with God. Seeing how committed he was and being able to speak with him was amazing. So iron sharpens iron, boys. But every single morning on the way, You're all right, Adrian. Every single morning on the way to work, I was praying, thanking God for giving me capable hands to be able to go and work, to be able to make money, to be able to back myself, to be able to build towards my future. Right? Because it's never over till the fat lady sings, and she ain't anywhere near fucking here yet. Right? So if anybody ever needs me for anything, I am always here. This is my heart. This is my pride and joy beyond set. It is everything to me. Everything. I mean that with everything I say. Beyond set is why I exist. And I truly believe that. I truly believe that God called me here for this. So if anybody ever needs me, I am always here. Whatever you need, we are here to help you, right? Yeah, appointment setting, boys, is not the finish line. Appointment setting is the fastest way that you will replace your income today. It has to be. It fucking is. I've tried everything, boys. I've tried everything. Dropshipping worked for me, but appointment setting was the one that worked when I was at the best period of my life. But the thing is with appointment setting is it leads you towards a career where you can make a disgusting amount of money. And it's not about money, but boys, sometimes when you think about people you love, right? I think about my little brother spending the majority of his life in a mobile home, not really having a lot. And I think about, right, what do I need to do to self-help him? I need to have money ready for when he's 18, that he doesn't have to go the way I did because there was no support. He didn't have to bounce around and move out of home and do all that shit. He's got support. He's got care, right? So that's what we do. We got to be men and do it for people that we love. You know, at the end of the day, don't do it for yourself. Do it for people you love, because when you're doing it for others, you're going to go a lot fucking further. I promise you that, right? But I tell you now, boys, appointment setting is easy. Appointment setting is easy. Filing is a little bit harder because you have to talk to people, and closing is big boy game. But you need to earn your stripes, right? Closing is hard to learn, but when you learn closing, that's like being a fucking qualified spark 1,000 years. You're sorted. Right? That is master level. When you get into closing, boys, that's it. Life changed forever. Forever. When you get into setting, it's the same thing, realistically. Because if you become a good setter, you'll always be, there's always going to be setting offers out there. Always, right? But this isn't the end goal. Appointment setting is just to get you guys into this world. And then after that, it's time to go learn the game and build your own legacy. Right? But if anybody has ever any questions, you know where to find me, right? I appreciate you all staying on, man. I genuinely do appreciate you all staying on. But other than that, unless anybody has anything to ask me before we finish out, have a blessed night, right? I'm assuming none of you have anything to ask, boys. So, as always, boys, have a blessed night. You know where we all are if you need us, right? And God bless. God fucking bless all of you, right? Have a good week, boys. And if you need me, you know where to find me. This call will be dropped as well. And I'm probably going to add a little bit of this to the modules too, because there was a lot went over. What I would advise anybody to do, if they need a refresher on all this, I'm going to add this into the modules, but I'm going to crop the video. What did I put? Was it Loom? Did I put into this, or was it Fathom? Please tell me Loom. Where is it? Ryan's Loom, no taker. Yeah, sweet. I'm going to crop this call down and call it when you get onto an offer. So when you get onto an offer, you can come back and watch this call. Mr. Rhino, good to see you, brother. I'm only seeing you now. But yeah. Endure and embrace the storm, boys, and embrace every part of life, because we don't fucking know what's next. So enjoy it while you fucking can, right? But yeah, have a good night, boys. Good to see you all, and see all the boys I'm looking at right now. See all the boys I'm looking at right now. See the lads that stay on like this and that will fucking put the time in and put the graft in. You have a lot going for you, boys. A lot going for you, and you don't need some random fucking 24-year-old to tell you that. Know it yourself. Know it yourself. Believe it yourself, right? Have a good night, everybody, and God bless. Right? Have a good week. Peace out, my friend. Go on. Peace out, boys. Take care.
God bless.